What's up? This is Patrick of Radicards.com, and here we are in March of 2024, and I'm finally getting to this video covering the the remaining 2023 Dallas card shows. There were a lot because I haven't published one since when was this? Yeah, July. A lot has happened since the July show, and so what I did is I took all the cool stuff I found at all the remaining 2023 shows, and I put them into one video. This is what this video is dedicated to, is this one run of a block of cards. There's quite a few cards here we're going to talk about, which I'm really excited about. I have some time to do this. Been really busy. But this is going to be really fun, so let's dive right into it here. What did I find at the Dallas Card Show? I'm just going to do this in order. And so when you see this stuff listed out on the associated articles, you'll see them in chronological order, so oldest to newest, but the actual picture that's on the blog post is just random. And it's just the raw stuff. I didn't put the graded stuff in there. So we're going to talk about this, and we're going to start off with something that came out in the 1930s. This is the 1934-36 Diamond Stars Heine Manouche. Now, there are two versions of this card, one with the W on his left sleeve and one without. This is the W variety. This is the version A, and it was corrected later without the W, version B. My research has indicated that values are similar among the two varieties. I found out about this card in 2010, summertime. I was working at a shop in Buena Park. Some of you might remember me talking about that from previous videos. So anyway, I had a customer come in with this card and some others from the set, and they looked too good. I bought them both, but then I realized later that night that they were actually they were reprints that weren't stated as reprints. Like, they were legitimate reprints from a box set thing, and then there was no statement of reprint on the back. So it's somewhat controversial when that happens. There's a difference between a reprint and a fake. A fake is made by somebody who doesn't have the licensing to reproduce the card. And so that's considered fake. Like, if I were to make a card, it would be considered fake, unless they put on the back custom or novelty. And there are a lot of people who do make custom cards, and they don't do that. They just make these custom versions of these cards. If you look online, there's unlimited amounts of this stuff floating around the market, which is very, very terrible. But if I had licensing, say from Diamond Stars to produce this, and it was legitimate through paperwork and whatever else, and I had a big operation going, and I could produce this, but I'd have to put reprint on the back of it. That would be part of the contract. At least it should. In any case, I found out about this card in 2010 summertime. I don't know if I still have those reprints. I may. I have a section in my collection for reprints and fakes, and they just kind of go in there, or like they're counterfeits. Like, I just find them and they just go in there because I don't want them out in the ethos. So if I find them, I buy them and I just store them in there, and that's that. That way I'm taking them out of the market so that they don't accidentally rip people off. And so these would be in that section if I do still have them. In any case, this is cool. I got this for, I think the guy wanted like 40, and I talked him down to 30. I thought that was a fine deal for this card. I've always liked this card because it's memory from, that 2010 era, which I'm so romantically attached to in my life. I love that part of my life for a lot of different reasons. And one of the big reasons was running the card shop, starting Radicards, going to Frank & Sons with my friends, and just hanging out and talking cards. That was just such a fun experience for me, and I really enjoyed it. And it was at a time when I really needed that in my life because I was having such a hard time in other parts of my life. And so that was just something that really helped me out. And I appreciate all the people in my life who were involved in that time frame. They were like in the ethos, people who helped me out and gave me those opportunities and things. And so I think it's just really an important time in my life. It kind of shaped some of who I am. And this card kind of takes me back to that. So there you have it. This is the 1934-36 Diamond Stars, the Heine Manouche. This is the version with the W on the left sleeve. So version A, card number 30A. So So next on the list here, this is cool. I got this in, gosh, I think it was like the same guy who sold me the Heine Manouche. He had a showcase on a table to the left of him. Like he had like a corner. He had like a booth in front of him, and then he had one on the left of him, and his left had like this cool low-grade vintage stuff. And so when I found this, I was like, oh, this is cool, because I had gotten an SGC 1.5 or a 2 of the subset card of Reggie Jackson at the end of the 70 top set, like the All-Star card. At a show, I think the year prior, or maybe even 2021, actually, some years ago. And so when I found this, I was like, what's cool? I get the other Reggie Jackson card in the 1970 Topps block. So this is the base card, card 140. I've always liked this card. I got a bunch of raw copies of this I picked up over the years in bargain bins and whatever. But I thought that getting a 2 would be kind of a nice addition. I don't think I added this to my museum. I think this stayed off the museum because it's just kind of like a random low-grade SGC card, which is cool. But not everything I own graded goes on the museum. That's just I'm picky about what gets uploaded. I've talked about this in the previous videos somewhere down the line where I've like parsed things out, and the stuff that makes the museum is like the best stuff. And it's usually like PSA if it's older. And then BGS more modern, and some raw more modern. But I'm so picky now with what gets on that site that it has to be a kind of fit a certain theme. And so this one's cool, but didn't make the cut for the museum. It did make, obviously, the cut for the archives, so it goes there. It's kind of a cool thing. I like this. This is a great picture of a young Reggie Jackson. And he has one more card in 71 Topps where he doesn't have a mustache, but then everything after, he's got a mustache. Or at least it fits like the mold of the mustache. But I just remember these first 3 years, 69, 70, 71, had like these younger Reggie Jackson images. And then in 72, he automatically looks quite a bit older. Like I don't know what happens that year, but he's automatically older looking. And I think it's because of the mustache. But in any case, this is a really great shot of a young Reggie Jackson. Really great stuff. I'm glad to get this. I got this for a pretty good price too. I got this for like almost the cost of a slab. Like what it would be to cost to get in, send a card in and get slabbed was like almost what I paid for this card. I think it was 20. I think. It's been so long now because this was like, gosh, a few shows before the last show of the year. So I hadn't posted. Like I said, this is a long time coming. I'm behind the times here, like 7 months out. My fault, but things happen. Life happens. So 8 months out, I guess now. But whatever, it's cool. I'm glad I'm able to finally get to this. This is cool. This is the 1970 Topps base card, card 140, Reggie Jackson in an SGC 2. All right, moving right along. I love this. This is so rad. I love this. Kent Herbeck, 1985, 711 coins, number C11, which I guess is 11, like X1 is Roman numeral 11. PSA 10, so rad. I saw this on the guy's booth at one of the big shows, and I think he wanted like $10 for it. I'm like, yeah, of course I'll buy it for $10. It's such a cool thing to have. This is something I'd use for blogging. It's perfect for blogging. I'd set this up as the image that I'd talk about the set, the 85 711 Slurpee coins. Interesting little note about this is that PSA labeled it as 7-11, so like the number 7-11 Slurpee coin. But Beckett would then title it as 7, the word 7-11, the word 11, and just coins plural. So it took me a little bit of digging before I could find out what set this came from when I did some research on it. And then, Kent Herbeck is one of the kind of like sort of stars. I mean, I wouldn't consider him a superstar, but he and like Chili Davis and Von Hayes, Tom Bernansky were like some of the bigger rookies in the like semi-star block and then 82 run. And so kind of cool to see these guys in some of these like 80s sets. And I've always liked the kind of food issues. So this kind of fit my collecting interests in several different ways. I also like that kind of like 3D sort of effect thing with these coins. They're just cool. I think it's just kind of fun from that era. And they're very still, some might call it kind of kitschy. And in a way it is. But at the same time, it's just kind of a fun thing to see the way the scan will pick up both of the images in the 3D. pattern here. This is just kind of a cool thing. I couldn't, there was no way for me to get this coin to sit vertical. It's at an angle and whatever, it's fine. Kind of a cool twins item to have. This is one of those serendipitous buys at the card shows. I just see it, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. What's the price? And if the price is like, fair and reasonable, and I might grab it. This is $10, not a big deal. PSA 10, it costs more to slab, right? So it's like a no-brainer in that way. Kind of a cool thing. So there you have it. This is the Kent Herbeck 1985 7-Eleven coins, number C11, PSA 10. All right, moving right along here. This is the 1987 Fleer Barry Bonds rookie. Everybody knows this card. It's a great card to have. I have a bunch of these. And I think this might be one of my, I may have another graded a version of this, but nothing high grade. I just think this card's awesome. The hat that he's wearing, this like image of a young, like normal shaped Barry Bonds. Love him or hate him, this is a classic card. And so I saw this in a guy's bin at one of the smaller shows. And I've chatted with this guy before, really nice guy. And we went back and forth on this for a little bit, and then I put it back in the box, and I came back to him like, I think later in the day, and I was like, hey, would you do this price for that? He's like, yes. And so I grabbed this card. This company, Gem Grading, is no longer around. They're just one of the defunct grading companies. There are many. Heck, there are many that have been added to that list just in the last couple of years alone. But this company went out like some time back. But I think this might be my only gem grading slab. Not that I chase them or anything, but the slabs aren't bad. They're not terrible. They're a little bulky, but they're nice. The company had no chance, of course, but I wouldn't grade this card a 10 just on premise of the centering alone. Left to right, it's like 70-30, give or take. But I do think that the slab flip works well with the colors on the card. That I love the 87 Fleer for that gradient white to blue. It's just so cool. It's just so nice. 88 Fleer is really nice too, with that like red, white, and blue flag thing in the background. Those confetti chips. But 87 Fleer is awesome, and this is a great card. And I have, like I said, I have a bunch of these. It's like every single year. So it was like Barry Bonds or Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I was like, neither of those guys are ever going to be in the Hall of Fame. Ever, ever, ever. Accept it. And so one guy legally can never be in the Hall of Fame because he signed away through the Burt Giamatti contract, saying basically, living or dead, like posthumously, you'll never be in the Hall of Fame. You're banned from baseball forever till the end of time. And every year someone's like, Pete Rose ought to be in the Hall of Fame, like deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Like, that may be the case in your head. You're entitled to your opinions, but you're not entitled to your facts. Okay, the facts are, he's on contract forever, living or dead. He'll never be in the Hall of Fame. So that's the Pete Rose issue. Every single year, people say something on Twitter, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Never going to happen. Barry Bonds is never going to be in the Hall of Fame for another reason. For the same reason, guys who cheat on tests in college and get straight A's shouldn't be on the dean's list. Same freaking reason. I can go on and on about that, but love him or hate him, Barry Bonds, he has a rich history in baseball, and he's in a lot of great sets. And people, so many times people say, he's the greatest hitter of all time. I was like, yeah, my friend who got straight A's in college who cheated all the way through is the greatest student of all time too. Same argument. In any case, this is cool. This is a Gem Mint 10, 1987 Fleer Barry Bonds rookie. Good stuff. Moving on. Okay, love this. I've always loved this card. Juan Gonzalez, 1990 Donruss rookie. This is the corrected version. As you know, he has the reverse negative, which is also a great card. I remember getting my first copy of that, I think in 1990. And it was kind of dinged up. And it was from a friend of mine's older brother who always reminded me of Van Damme. Like, his older brother always looked like Van Damme to me. I was like, Travis, your brother looks like Van Damme. I remember telling his brother that, and his brother's like, awesome. They were always so cool to me. That was like one of my childhood elementary school friends. I hope they're doing all right. I haven't talked to that guy in a long time. But in any case, this is the corrected variety, where he's batting right instead of left. And the reason why I'm showcasing this is because you'll notice on the top edge there's like a pink. It's almost like this card was on the sheet to be printed, but the like red or the coloring didn't clean the entire card, didn't cover the whole card for one reason or another. And so when I found this, and I think I have like a Ryan or a Gwyn with also something similar, but this one's the most pronounced. It's like straight pink with into red, whereas like the Gwyn, it's like almost a gradient into red. And so, or dark orange or whatever you call this 90 Donruss flavor. But I love this set. It's so rad. I love 90 Donruss because it's such a reminiscence to my childhood. And when I saw this, I was like, what a cool thing to have. It's an interesting variety. Years ago, I would say, oh man, I don't even remember how long ago that was. I organized my cards and I had like an errors category. It was like errors and autographs and whatever promos. I don't do that anymore because it's just too much work. So I took everything out and put it in like the player sections or the team sections or whatever. And that's the end of it. Makes it just easier. Try to keep it simple. But this card just went into the 1990 Donruss block. And I have a bunch of these. I have a lot of these I've picked up over the years from various reasons, like cheap bargain bins or whatever. But this is the first version that has this kind of like pink line at the top. Really cool. I just think this card is so rad. I'm a Juan Gonzalez fan. I love Barry Bonds too. Like I love these players for various reasons, and so they're part of that staple block of my childhood. And I'll never hold anything against guys, but I'll never say that they deserve to be this or that. I love them for various reasons, and I really love them because they were the guys who were popular when I was growing up. And so I'm a Juan Gonzalez fan. I'm a Roger Clemens fan. I'm a Sammy Sosa fan. I'm a Mark McGwire fan. I love all those guys because of they were era specific guys. For the same reasons in my father's generations, those guys love, the Koufax and Bob Gibson and, Mickey Mantles and all the guys who were big when they were coming up. And so, Juan Gonzalez is kind of a special player for me. Those like Nolan Ryan, Tony Gwynn, Ryan Sandberg, Don Mattingly, Cal Ripken, all those 80s guys. I just love all those guys so much. And the 90s guys is just a continuation of it. So there you have it. This is the kind of an interesting color variety of the color production variety, I should say, of the 1990 Donruss Juan Gonzalez corrected rookie card. I love the rated rookie on these cards. That like blue match works so well with that border color. That dark orange and that blue just works so well. I just love the rated rookie logo. So cool. Panini brought it back, which works too on their products. So moving on here, this is 1993 Upper Deck Loose Collection Jeff Bagwell. The reason why I'm showcasing this is because it has a double strike of the foil on the logo there on the left side. It's like double striked. It's like 2 times it was printed. We'll see the skin in another card later in this discussion, but when I saw this in like a 10-cent bin, I was like, of course I'm going to grab this. Of course. I love Jeff Bagwell. He's awesome. He spent his whole career with the Astros with Craig Biggio. Those guys just had their whole careers together. And I've always liked Bagwell. I still like Bagwell. I still find his stuff and cherry pick it. I'm a big Bagwell fan. But this card's great because it showcases a really young Bagwell in those awesome Nike shoes, those like high tops. I would wear those. I would totally wear those. Those are awesome shoes even now. And this was, 31 years ago. Back when The Fugitive came out on in theaters. That's one of the greatest movies of all time, by the way. Predated the next one of the other greatest movies of all time, Shawshank Redemption, which came the year later, 94. Two of my favorite movies of all time. There are others. Great movies, just fantastic movies. In any case, 1993. I think also when The Sandlot came out was the same year. Great year for cards, great year for movies. So this is cool. This is the double strike version of the 1993 Upper Deck Loose Collection Jeff Bagwell. Misprint is what I should just say. It's what it is, just a misprint. All right, cool stuff. Moving into this, the only non-baseball card in this list, but a great one. I love Jason Kidd. I'm a Jason Kidd fan. I always have been since I found out about him in 94. 94-95 Collector's Choice Gold Signature Jason Kidd. I found this in a guy's booth at one of the big shows. He had a Frank Thomas card in his showcase. His prices were very reasonable. I hope he's at future shows. I've talked to this guy before, a super nice guy. And he had this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get this card. Love Jason Kidd. This is a rookie card and a significant piece. I love that the gold signature is the team name and not the player signature, which is what you'd normally find on gold signatures, at least in the baseball category. So I thought this was just a great find, and I got this for a really great deal. I don't remember now what I paid for. I think this was the first show I didn't cover of the 2023 block of stuff I didn't talk about as it came through the pipeline. And so I've had this card now for a while. Love it, though. I have a Jason Kidd section in my basketball area. And so I'm still a fan. I think he's awesome. He was a great player. And I think he's coaching, but just a good athlete. You know, he reminds me again of like that era of time in the early 90s when I was dabbling in other sports and liking guys from football and basketball. And even, I don't think I was doing much hockey. I don't think I've ever done hockey to any significant degree. I have very few hockey cards. But I just think his card's great. It's awesome. I love Collector's Choice. Gold signature for basketball. It's different than baseball. Baseball, they had like a matte finish on the cards, like just a standard gold flat finish border, and the gold flat, like a flat gold foil signature. The cards look amazing. I love them. They're fantastic. But basketball, the way that they did them in basketball is just so much better. They're so much nicer. They have like a flashy foil coating across the entire card. They didn't do that in baseball. And so you have this cool flat foil, like straight across, all the way across the whole card. And baseball, we just got like a gold border and a flat gold facsimile signature. Whereas the basketball, the flat gold facsimile, I guess team name now, but the whole card is foil, which I think is awesome. These cards are just so cool looking. There's a Jordan card where he's in baseball, and it's like that too. I just think this is a great addition to my collection. I was super happy to get this. It works really well in my collection. So there you have it. This is the 1994-95 Collector's Choice Gold Signature Jason Kidd rookie card. All right, moving on. The reason why I'm showcasing this one is because so this is 1999 Ultra Jeff Bagwell, but it's not just any 1999 Ultra Jeff Bagwell. This one doesn't have the player name and team name printed with a foil finish, and the Ultra logo in the top left corner is not printed on it. So I'm going to move it to the one that was, there you go. That's the one there that is the actual legitimate packed out version that we all know, with the like foil finish around. It's not foil, it's like hollow finish, hollow print on the team name and player name. And then the top left, you have the flat gold foil Ultra logo. Whereas on the one I bought, it doesn't have the Ultra logo and doesn't have the hollow foil finish on the team name or player name. So I thought that was kind of a cool error. I did research on this. I couldn't find anything. It's not to my knowledge, there's not a retail version of this card. There's not like a special promo version. This is just everything else is the same. The card number is the same. The back is the same. It's just it's missing those two elements of the card. So it's like, great. I'm a Jeff Bagwell fan. Of course, I'm going to grab this. It was cheap. It was like in a 10-cent bin, or it was a cheap card, a 25-cent bin or something. But I saw it and I was like, this is not your normal 99 Ultra example. So when I found this, I was like, well, I'm going to grab that. And then I found the other one, the packed issue, and I was like, I want to grab that one too, so I can talk about them both in the video. And that brings us to now. So I was really glad to get this in the collection. Such a cool thing to have. But there you have it. This is the 1999 Ultra Error version of the Jeff Bagwell. Card number 207. All right, moving on. This is the, love this. So fantastic. I love this card. It's awesome. 1999 Encore FX Gold, Mark McGwire. This is the subset card. Odyssey, I think is Homer Odyssey. Right. Really cool stuff. Love this. I love these cards. Even the base, the like hollow foil finish on them, they're just excellent. It's the silver version. You have the gold, it just pops off the card like this. They're so nice looking. Upper Deck does such a great job with these cards. So serial number is to 125, printed on the back in like that dot matrix serial numbering that we all love so much from the 90s. And when I saw this, I've bought from this guy before, really nice guy, and he gave me an awesome deal on this card. I couldn't pass it up. I was like, of course I'm going to buy that. This was at one of the smaller shows in the summertime, I think, and I was really glad to get this. I don't think the centering on this card is amazing because if you look on the left and right, those pillars, they don't match up in width. So it's probably like 70-30, but what do I care? FX Gold to 125. Mark McGwire. Huge Mark McGwire fan. Love Mark McGwire. It's my brother's former roommate's parents live next to him in California where he lives. I never met Mark McGwire, never been to that house. I don't know anything more beyond that statement. But apparently he has a pretty big house. I would hope so. He deserves it. So love Mark McGwire. I was stoked on him when I see his cards at shows. It's just something like special about Mr. Mark McGwire. I was like, he and Sosa, and to a degree even Bonds, they'll kind of like work with my youth, the like younger me. And so when I see their cards, I always appreciate seeing them at shows and stuff. But the Encore set is really great, and these FX Gold to 125 are just really, really cool. So this is the 1999 Upper Deck Encore FX Gold to 125. Mark McGwire, subset card at the end of the set. The Homer Odyssey. Cool stuff. Love that. All right, next on the list. You may or may not have seen this card. This was a first for me. Adrian Beltre, 2004 Dodgers Fleer, card number 16. So here's the deal with this. It's 16 of 21. It says Fleer Tradition, but it's actually, the way it was released was not through Fleer Tradition. This was actually a stadium giveaway. A 21 card set was given away over 3 separate nights at Dodger Stadium in 2004. And each time a 7-card pack was given away. So you have 3 nights, 7 cards each for 21 cards. 7, 14, 21. And this is Adrian Beltre. The reason why this stood out to me when I found it is I hadn't seen these cards in all blue like this before. They usually have a white border. And the flag area is the only thing that has a color to it. At the bottom of it, like with the nameplate with the position there. That's usually the only thing that has color. Everything else is all white. So I saw this, I was like, well, I got to grab that. That's interesting. Hadn't seen that before. I haven't done any research on how rare these cards are. I wouldn't imagine they're terribly rare, but they're not nearly as common. I will say that as the base cards, because if you look around, you might come up short looking for this stuff. But when I saw this, I was like, well, I'm going to grab that. I think this was another quarter bin find. I don't think I found this in the dollar box. I don't remember though. I've had this for a little while now. Now come to think of it, I'm trying to remember where I got it at one of the shows. It was in a bargain bin, but I don't remember which one. It was either quarter or dollar. It was somewhere in there. But this was a great ad, and I'm a Beltre fan. He had a very productive career, and he deserves respect. So this is a cool thing. I like to get these like obscure stadium giveaway SGA type things because they usually have a smaller print run. Because it's just, specific to certain nights or whatever. So this is the 2004 Dodgers Fleer, card number 16 out of 21, Adrian Beltre. Love this. This is awesome. I'm a big Zach Greinke fan. Huge. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest, but I'm a big fan of Zach Greinke. I have a section of his in my PC boxes that's growing all the time. I don't buy a lot of his stuff on eBay. I usually just like cherry pick it in bins and whatever, but I found this and I was super stoked when I found it. 2006 Bowman Chrome Gold Refractor to 50. Awesome. Just awesome. And these cards, 2006, I remember 2006 quite well, actually. Very well that year. And half of the year was kind of like, whatever. The other half was pretty awesome. And so I wasn't buying cards this year though. I was more like I bought and custom that made a guitar and was playing music a lot that year, and very busy in school and other things. And so I missed out on buying any Bowman Chrome in 2006. So I missed out on Granky stuff really until until like 2012 when I got my first Granky card. So he had already had some years, 10 years really in baseball. I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. I think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer too. I don't know, but I think he will. Very productive, super successful. He's been on a number of different teams, but he's also highly decorated. He's kind of one of my current like favorites of the like modern guys. Granky, big fan, Granky. Came up with the Kansas City Royals, and then he spent some time with some other teams over the last, decade or whatever. But great card to have, and I saw this, I had to get it, and it was a very, very reasonable price. I just don't remember what I paid for it now because it's in the stack of stuff that, I'm like, I got to get to this and review it, and I just haven't gotten to it until now. But great stuff. Really glad to get this card. It's a great picture of Zack Greinke. I really admire this guy. I really have a lot of respect for Mr. Greinke. This is the 2006 Bowman Chrome Gold Refractor to 50 Zack Greinke. All right, moving on. Another double strike error card. You'll notice down there by the nameplate that his name and that all that silver was struck twice on this card. When I saw this, I was like, well, I want to get it just for that reason. The guy who sold this is really great. He is awesome stuff every show. Really nice guy, and his son set up, and they're just cool people. Super nice people, and they have awesome prices, and they work with you, and I could sit there in their booth for a while and go through and pull out. I usually pull out a little stack and take it up, and they always work with me. This was at one of the smaller shows. Yeah, I picked up like a Ripken rookie, a Frank Thomas Leaf rookie, and some others. I think there was a Dwight Gooden in there too, 84 tops traded. But I threw this in there. I was like, hey, what about this one? And what can you do for the whole stack? And he gave me a really great price. He worked with me, and just really pleased to get this card in the collection. I love anything Nolan Ryan on the Angels. I love anything Nolan Ryan. He's my favorite pitcher of all time. But when I see him on the Angels, I'm like, awesome. Because I used to live in Fullerton, just up from like Angel Stadium, like 5 miles. And I'd go to Angels games. And again, 2010 memories, just an awesome time in my life. And so, and I saw this, I was like, I want to get this card. So here's the thing with this. This is 2011 tops. This is obviously the misprint with the double strike, but this is the SP. Because 2011, they did like veterans, the same card number, but like B. So A would be the current modern, like current guy. And then B would be the veteran who's retired, like retired stars. And so you catch a guy like, Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle in there and other players, and then Nolan Ryan is in there too. And so they share the card number. So you always know that you got an SP when you pull a guy who's been retired. And so Nolan Ryan obviously retired in 2011, and so he's the SP. So a harder card to get. So this is a slightly more expensive card than my normal bargain bin stuff. Yeah, I think it was like $10 or maybe a little less after I did the whole thing, the whole block that I bought from this seller. Obviously I paid a little bit less, but whatever, it's fine. This is, why I go to shows, pick up these cool things to share with you and also just to add to my collection. And I thought this was just such a cool, neat card to get of Mr. Nolan Ryan, my favorite pitcher. Great stuff. I didn't buy a lot of 2011 tops, regrettably, for the obvious reasons. There's so much great stuff to be had in 2011 tops. 2011 tops update, the Trout rookies, right? But like Charlie Blackmon and who else is in that? JD Martinez, Craig Kimbrell, the guys on the Houston Astros, everybody loves to hate because of the cheating. But anyway, this is a cool card to have. I always like this. And again, it's got the double strike logo, just makes it that much cooler. This is the 2011 Topps SP, Nolan Ryan. Cool stuff to have. Moving on here. All right, love this. 2017 Donruss Optic, the Elite Series Red to 99, Adrian Beltre. Another Adrian Beltre. Love Adrian Beltre. Big fan. When I saw this, I was like, what a cool, great set. Because they're bringing back elements of the 92 run with the way this style looks. Stylistically, it's very similar. Not the same, of course. Optic has to kind of Panini has to change it up a bit. But I think it's the concept was really well done here. Yeah, I think I paid like $4 for this card, maybe. I don't remember, but it was at one of the bigger shows in the Twilight Room, kind of closer to the wall on the corner. And I almost walked away. I was like, no, I should probably grab that Beltray. That's a nice one to have. It'll go really well in my collection. I think this would be a good talking point for the review. And so when I saw this, I was like, I got to get it. So grab this. This is a cool one to have. These cards are awesome. I think Panini does a great job. I've seen this before that despite their limitations with licensing, they do great work. The cards look really great. I just love them. They're fantastic. I think it's the parallels are a bit much, but overall you have a lot of variety to choose from and a lot of cool stuff to get. And usually you can get good deals because there's so much available out there. It's even though it's kind of like watered down, it makes the price points usually drop quite a bit. So there are benefits to having too many parallels. I mean, it's a lot, but these are great cards. They look awesome, and I think that Panini does a great job. I'm a fan of Panini, and despite what happens and whatever happens in the future, I'll support them as much as I can. Makes sense anyway. So anyway, this is the 2017 Donruss Optic, the Elite Series Red to 99, Adrian Beltre. All right, another Panini Modern I saw, and I had to get. There's another one here we'll talk about after this too. These are cool. I wanted to get some of this more current stuff. And so this guy was in one of the big shows, I think on the last day. It was like late Sunday before everything closes up. And he was still in one of the rooms, like one of the breakout rooms that was already thinned out. Like most of the dealers had already left, and he and his son were sitting there right next to the door. And I was like, I started talking. This guy's a big attorney, and I was chatting law and whatever else. And I was building a rapport with this guy, really nice guy. I hope to see him again, actually, because they just break product he and his son do. And whatever's left, like out of the break that he doesn't want, he just sells it at the shows. And this was on one of his like stand-up showcases that he had. I'm like, what a cool card to get! I want to get. I'm a Cabrera fan. I have a section of his in my player boxes. So got to get this Cabrera card. So this is cool. This is the 2020 Donruss Optic Teal Velocity to 35. So print run of 35 on this one. I don't buy any of this stuff pack-wise. I don't buy any of it. At least I haven't yet. I may in the future. Who knows? But I don't. I'm not tempted to buy any of it. But this one, kind of like I saw it. I was like, this is cool. It's the player I like. It's got a cool design to it, reminiscent of like 1990 Donruss, or even before that. Those like older Diamond Kings subsets from the 80s and early 90s. At least up until like 91. After that, it was like an insert set. But this is cool. Great player, great design of a card. Like I said, Panini does an awesome job. I love the stuff they make. The stuff looks so cool. And so these, I guess the Velocity is that like cool showcase light design popping out in the background like that. They look great. I mean, these cards look just awesome. Yeah, it's funny. I think that because of how many parallels are, made for every card that Panini makes, people usually aren't in love with that. And I understand it. Like, if it's not scarce, it's like, why bother? But at the same time, they make enough stuff that is scarce that's fun to collect. And I'm not trying to get the best of anything. I just like some of the stuff they make, and they give us enough variety to play around with. So I respect that. And I think this is a great card. I don't remember what I paid for it, but I remember it was at, like I said, the last hour of the last out of Sunday on one of the shows at some point in the fall, whenever that was. So you have it. This is the 2020 Donruss Optic Teal Velocity to 35 Miguel Cabrera. Still a subset card in the set because this is card number 11. So I like that Panini added the Donruss Diamond Kings in the set as just a subset instead of making an insert set. I thought that was cool. All right, moving on here. Another one of these cool Optic cards. This is a 2021 Panini Contenders Optic Pink Velocity to 9 Freddie Freeman. Again, same dealer with his son. This was part of that block. When I saw these cards, I was like, well, I got to get the Freeman. A little bit more expensive, but it was still very reasonable. And overall, it was still very, very reasonable for me. So I was glad to get this. And I'm a Freeman fan. Again, another was modern guys I like, Freeman. And so he has a section in my boxes. And again, that cool like showcase lighting, like performance lighting thing going on in the background. These cards look awesome. A lot of parallels for this card, but that's okay. There's a lot to play around with if you see stuff. I like that people open wax. I appreciate it because stuff surfaces that I wouldn't otherwise buy because I don't open wax. I don't open packs of cards. I just buy singles. But when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, this is cool. I like the design. I like the player. This is a nice type card. If I wanted to, have a type from the set, this does the trick." So I was really glad to get this. And the print run is super low to 9. How cool. This is the Freddie Freeman 2021 Panini Contenders Optic Pink Velocity to 9. It's kind of a mouthful, isn't it? This next one's kind of a mouthful too, but also an awesome card. Here we go. Ready? Dave Stewart, 2021 Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary Aqua Wave Refractor. That's a lot. These cards are awesome. Topps did a great job with this set. I think this is the first one I bought. I bought a Dante Bichette at another show or at the same show. I don't remember. Bichette was in like a 10-cent bin or a 25-cent bin or something. It was cheap. I think Stewart was in a similar bargain bin. I think they both came from the same bin now, come to think of it. The seller of this, super great dude from Oklahoma. Love hanging out with these guys. Super nice guys. They always give me great deals. But when I saw this, I was like, I got to get this David Stewart. It's so rad. So Dave Stewart, I think I filed in binders when I was a kid. I don't do that anymore. I don't even think I have a Stewart section. I don't have enough of his stuff. I have rookies of him from the 82 block. Yeah, I've got Dave Stewart rookies, but I don't have much else of him except for this card. If there's anything else, then it's not significant enough to necessitate a section in my player boxes. But apparently he was really well known for pitching, like very well known. He was like scary to go against when you're as a hitter. Dave Stewart takes me back to my really early years of collecting. And I saw this, I was like, my gosh, the colors on this card are amazing. His outfit, his uniform is this like dark green and yellow, which works really well with this aqua wave refractor thing. These cards are just magnificent looking. I don't have the Frank Thomas yet. Maybe I'll get it at some point, but Topps Chrome did a lot of parallels for this set. I've seen a lot of them over the years, the last couple of years anyway. This is still a relatively new set, 2021. But yeah, I saw this and I was like, I almost passed on it, but I went back to it and I was like, this is too good. It's got so much going for it. Colors are amazing. The player's awesome. It's Topps Chrome. It's just got so much going for it. The player image is just fantastic. Dave Stewart, look at this. Just incredible. Love Dave Stewart. I don't hear much about him anymore. I hope he's doing all right. But he's still got the contract with Topps, which is cool. But it's got that 52 Topps design, but actually it's like the normal size, 2.5 by 3.5. I'm glad they didn't like bring back the old giant 89 Bowman whatever disaster. 89 Bowman, the one set that's hard to keep in good condition because it always flips over the it's always peeking out of stuff like pages and penny sleeves. But I use the for that set I use the vintage card sleeves. Those work really well with 89 Bowman because it covers the whole real estate of the card. And then I use dividers in a box that are taller than that so that they never get scrunched ever with Topps. So that's just my strategy. That's the way I treat 89 Bowman. It kind of requires a little bit of finesse, some care, a little TLC with 89 Bowman because of its ridiculous sizing. I know what Bowman was going for. Let's bring back the big cards from like pre-57. And then everybody's like, this is terrible. It doesn't fit in anything. You can put them in top loaders. They fit just ever so perfectly in those. But what am I talking about 89 Bowman for? In any case, we've got this really great 2021 Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary Aqua Wave Refractor, Dave Stewart. Good stuff. All right, last card on the list here. This is awesome, and the seller was really cool. I've known her now for a while. She's really nice. Always cool to talk to, and she's a big George Brett fan. She's a veteran, so I always respect veterans. I'm a big veteran fan of veterans. Thank you all for serving. Something I couldn't do, so I appreciate that other people could do it for me. In any case, she sold me this in her like plastic, like pelican brief things, Pelican Brief, great movie. John Grisham, Denzel Washington, Julie Roberts, and other people who are in that movie that are fantastic. In any case, this is 2023 Panini 3-2 Hollow Silver to 20 Cal Ripken. I prefer to see Junior at the end of Ripken, but a lot of sets have just Ripken. They stop there. He is a senior. His dad, he coached for the Orioles in the early 80s, and I guess he wasn't that great. But he's on a card with them in 88, but he's got coaching cards in like 82 or 83, I think. In any case, getting off topic here. This is the Cal Ripken Jr. from 2023 Panini 3-2 Hollow Silver to 20. The reason why I like this card, a lot of reasons, obviously it's Cal Ripken. I'm a big Cal Ripken fan. But these are like thicker cards. I didn't realize 3-2 is like a thicker product. I don't know anything about the release. If it's like you pay a lot for 4 cards. I don't know. It might be one of those like super higher end products and whatever. They're nice cards. Again, another Panini product. Really great stuff. Panini just does such an awesome job with their cards, their releases. They're really nice looking cards. So I got this card for $10, I think, and I was really happy to get it because obviously for various reasons I'm a big Ripken fan, and this works really well with my collection. I have a pretty good sized Ripken collection now. I've been doing this now for like a lifetime. But whenever I see his stuff, I'm always intrigued. So I'm a fan of Ripken. He helped bring back interest in baseball after the strike. And then Sosa McGuire picked up on that in 98, and then Bonds kind of just carried that along. And so I think everybody's forgiven baseball for that. At least that's the hope anyway. And Ripken's really partially responsible for bringing it back. So I'm glad he was around. It's kind of an interesting circumstance, like play of events that took place. The strike happens, and all of a sudden Ripken breaks Lou Gehrig's consecutive streak record, and he carries it on for another several years, and then McGuire and Sosa and the rest of it. So really cool, interesting kind of like how that goes over the course of time. It sounded like a perfect storm of very specific instances that happened and needed to happen. But Cal Ripken's partially responsible for making baseball relevant again after the strike. So big fan of Cal Ripken. Love the guy. Never met him, but I'd love to meet him. I think it'd be cool just to sit and talk with him about baseball. I don't think it'll ever happen, but in any case, I hope he's doing all right. And I'm glad to add this card into my collection. This is the Cal Ripken Jr. 2023 Panini 3-2 Hollow Silver to 20. All right, so that's the stuff that I felt was worthy of discussing that covers all the remaining Dallas card shows from everything after July up until really the end of the year. There were a lot of shows, and I just kind of kept collecting content. There are obviously a lot more that I bought, but I can't go through all of it. And so I just pick out the stuff that I think is worthy of talking points and just fun stuff. And so I hope you enjoyed that discussion. If there's something that I spoke about that kind of like, you thought was cool, please leave me a comment in the comments section. I look forward to hearing those comments. That closes out my 2023 Dallas Card Show pickups for the remaining of those remaining months. Thank you for tuning in to Radicards TV on Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Greeno, and until next time, enjoy collecting. If you like this content, please subscribe. Thanks. Enjoy collecting.